Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're so glad that you're here and able to attend this webinar on moving forward towards the workplace. My name is Paula Boros, and I work for the College of Psychology and the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. Today, we're going to be talking about the next steps to help you start you and your career, and maybe do an internship search or anything after graduation as an NSU Shark. In addition, it will provide the services and benefits still available to you as an alumni student so you can use all of the opportunities offered. But first, before we begin, let me introduce you to Raphael Walters and Daniela Karaki-Suarez. Raphael is our Associate Director of our Alumni Relations for NSU. He's been working with NSU for 2 years now, and he was formerly the Assistant Director of Annual Giving. In his new role, Raphael is tasked with engaging with a network of 180,000 alumni worldwide. He works diligently in making sure alumni stay connected, attend events, mentor, and volunteer with their alma mater. Also, Daniela, or also goes as Danny, is a career advisor at NSU's Office of Career Development. She currently works with our undergraduate, graduate, and alumni students across all majors and career paths. This includes using career exploration tools, job search strategies, resumes, cover letter edits, and interview preparation. And now let me turn it over to Danny and Raphael.
Hi, everybody. This is Danny. We're excited to be hosting this webinar for you today. We're excited to see the students already checked in. Feel free to ask questions along the way, and we'll be sure to answer at the end. So starting with just the title, this is Moving Towards the Workforce, Job Search Strategies and Tips. So it's going to be a lot of resources and tools that our alumni and recent grads can use in order to jumpstart their job search. So hopefully this will be helpful for you all. So starting with just looking within yourself, it's good to do research both on internally and knowing your field. So within yourself, you should try to recognize some of the interests you've started to develop just being in college for the past 4 years. What have you learned are some of your strengths and skills that you can really hone in on and bring some value to the workforce. You want to also evaluate some of your short and long-term goals and see if maybe a job or internship that you're looking into would match those goals that you want to meet in the future. Some other important things to consider are some priorities and essentials. So this is thinking about maybe where you want to go for a future job. For example, is one of your essentials that you need to have a target really close to you, or you just need to be in a city setting because that's where you've been all your life? So it's really important to just think about knowing yourself and know where you would feel comfortable and where you would really thrive just job-wise. Know your experiences and really be realistic if you feel like maybe if you haven't graduated with any sort of internship experience, maybe you might need to start out getting an internship experience before starting on that entry-level job. And finally, just knowing your brand. So we'll go more into this later in the presentation, but it's basically realizing what your online brand is when employers are searching for you. It's also important to know your field. So know, for example, if you're in software development, you need to know some of the requirements that are needed. If you need to know Python or C# or some of the different languages that are being updated and being required for certain positions, it's really important to just stay up to date and get to know maybe some certifications you might need to build up on. It's good to know the nature of the work. So knowing whether you're like a hands-on kind of worker, you prefer to be in team-oriented settings or kind of work independently, it's good to know the nature of the work that you're getting involved with to see if it fits this type that you would best thrive in. Know those hard skills that are required, and then just know where are they hiring to. So this is thinking about where the job outlook is really strong and looking positive in the future. Not only are they looking to hire in the future, but where are those concentrated areas that they will be hiring. So think about when you're reflecting now on your university and undergraduate experience, to really think about that real work experience. So I like this quote because it says that real work experience is as important, if not more important, than your GPA. So really reflect on some of the work that you've done, even if it wasn't full-time work while you were a student. Don't forget, you can always list down on your resume some things like part-time work that you did, volunteering, those student organizations, especially if you were a leader. I would definitely highlight those any way that you can. If you were in Greek life, that's a great way for you to show that you know how to collaborate, plan events, be part of a team, really a lot of leadership skills that you can show. And finally, I know a lot of our students participate in research as well, faculty-led research, maybe with an outside organization. So putting that practical experience that you've done into play when you're talking either in your interviews or you're networking with employers, it's going to be a lot more valuable to them than just the classes that you took. So I like to also look at lynda.com, which is a free resource for a lot of our students. And I'm not quite sure if it's still available to our alumni, but it's always a great tool for anybody to be using. It's an education company, and they have video courses for you to get certifications in different things like software, just creative software like maybe Adobe Photoshop or Excel, QuickBooks, Java, coding, a lot of hard skill set knowledge that you can really build upon even after you finish getting your bachelor's degree. Because we can still always continue to learn, and that's what employers always want to see, that you do have that drive to stay updated with what the industry is calling for. And as recent grads, it's also really important to consider the value of networking. So this means building some genuine, mutually beneficial relationships. So you want to make sure that the people you are connecting with, you can provide some value to them and they can provide some value to you too. It's kind of like building a friendship, but you also know in the future, like you never know what could happen, especially if they're in the same industry as you, it could lead to future opportunities. It's also really important to create a brand for yourself. So it's one thing to take a look at is maybe looking at your online presence. So something I like to always tell my students is to try Googling yourself and see what it is that you find. Because a lot of the times it's really surprising what my students end up seeing once they Google themselves. So just realize that Portfolium, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of these things are tools for you to really set up your online presence the way you want it, rather than have other people dictate what your online brand is going to be. So maybe if you want to have a stronger brand for yourself, you can start writing some blog posts, write some articles, or just do a lot of things that end up in different postings so your brand is more strong. Another thing to realize is most jobs are never posted online. About 80 jobs are given to people just from word of mouth, just from people that they already know, and just references. So that's why it's really important to start networking, especially within your field. If you can go to conferences, just go to different events where you can meet people who can help you get that next opportunity. So that's why it says here, seek out those opportunities. And I like to say prepare a hit list, not like an assassin kind of hit list, but it's just good to know if there's a certain person or employer who's going to be at an event and you know for sure that's somebody you want to talk to. So make sure to maybe note them on a mental hit list that you have, so that you know that you're going to have a mission in mind to talk to them while you're there and make that opportunity to connect with them. Another thing would be to print business cards and use them. So if you are collecting business cards at these kind of networking events, make sure that you use them. So I would recommend maybe writing down some key notes of the conversation you just had with somebody. So let's say I spoke with somebody named Jennifer and we talked about some of the great opportunities that she's had. She talked about her dog, just some random things that made us bond a little bit closer together. And I took her business card at the end. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to turn that business card around and I'm going to write some notes about that conversation I just had with her. That way, when I email her or send a message to her later, I can use that little tidbit that really connects us on that personal note that we had.
Yeah, and I would include that when I was job searching a while back, that Vistaprint.com was a great resource for me when creating my business cards. So it's very cheap, efficient. I know that some of you are just graduating and it could be a little tight on money, but it's always good to have business cards, and Vistaprint.com was a big help with that. So you're able to get about 150 business cards for a little under $5, $10. With that, you're able to create them however you would like. You can include whatever information you would like to have on it. For me personally, I would include my social media accounts, especially LinkedIn, my Facebook, those things that are professional to me on my business cards. So, knowing that you don't or may not have a position yet, your business card can always market yourself and have some synonyms or fun or exciting things on it that make your business card stand out from others.
Yeah, it's definitely a great branding tool for you to use just to make yourself stand out. And then it's also important to use those tools to follow up with those people after the event too. And I like this quote a lot because it's really important to know that it's not about who you know, it's who knows you. So make sure that you're following up with these people so they don't forget the awesome person that they just met.
So one thing I wanted to include as well with networking is the professional organization, you know, looking at things that are local in your area that can help you build professionally based on the industry that your career is in. So using the Department of Labor, their website, they have the Occupational Outlook Handbook that you can go on and access online and just kind of see some of those professional development organizations where you can be a part of that, or get in contact with those and network along the lines of people that are in the career that you're in. Alumni relations. So leveraging your alumni network. This is a big thing. So like Paula mentioned, thank you, Paula, there is over 180,000 alumni that we have here at NSU. So I would use that, you know, to our advantage. Of course, make friends while you're at the university. But one thing that I would do is stay connected with them. So what we did and what we have implemented is NSU Connect. The website for that is nsuconnect.net, not .com, but .net. And that's when you can find and chat with other fellow graduates. So if you know someone that was in your class, or you might have lost touch with someone that was in your particular, let's say you worked on campus, you might have met up with them Greek life, any of those areas, you're able to connect back with them and rekindle that bond that you had, and maybe use that as a networking opportunity for yourself. You're able to, it's very similar to LinkedIn. So you're able to create groups, and you can have specific groups based on class of 2019, College of Dental Medicine. You know, you can create specific groups, and in that group, you can post jobs. You can talk about events that are coming up, or maybe you guys can connect and maybe go for happy hour. Something or anything that you wanted to use that for that platform. It's very similar to LinkedIn, but it's very direct to only NSU alumni. You can introduce yourself on there, employees. You can use it as a mentoring tip. So there are a lot of students that do use the platform NSU Connect. So if you're an alum and you want to connect and mentor students that are in your program or in your college, you can do so with that as well. So you can use that platform for that. Very professional, very good for networking and giving back and using that platform. So looking at it, at advancing your career through the inside connections at those top companies, I would suggest research. Number one thing, I know Danny mentioned it, but research is number one. Always research those top companies or those areas or those places that you would like to see yourself in the future. See what they're about, see what they're good at, and know and have those facts with you. Another thing I was mentioning is volunteering. So when looking at those top companies or being a part of this worldwide alumni association that you will be a part of, volunteer back on campus. So on campus, we have a lot of events that happen. It might not all be through Alumni Relations, but it could be through NSU as a whole. So that can be Relay for Life. There's over thousands of people that come out on campus for Relay for Life. They come out for the Celarulu Walk, all those different walks or all those different events that happen on campus where there's not only alumni, but also family and friends of the local community. You can come out and network and make friends there and use that as a platform to volunteer or to just show your face.
Yeah, and with such a wide network, as Raphael was saying, with over 180,000 alumni that we currently have at Nova, there's a great opportunity for you to either use NSU Connect and also use all your tools, which includes the LinkedIn alumni tool. So I really love this for students to use because as soon as you make a LinkedIn profile, it gives you a great amount of opportunities for you to connect with people who are connected with Nova on LinkedIn. So I'll give you an example of the tool that is available. As soon as you're on the homepage of LinkedIn, if you just search for Nova Southeastern University and you click on the school, there's going to be a tool on the left-hand side. It's the fourth button down that says alumni. And down there, you'll be able to search alumni by title, keyword, company, by different locations that they are around. So let's say you're really looking into getting into the marketing field within Orlando, Florida. So with that, you're going to want to type something like marketing and narrow down the location to Orlando, Florida. And with that, you can already see 904 alumni who are currently living in Orlando and working within the marketing field. So with that, you already see that you have a great network for you to reach out to, and you always have that thing in common that you all graduated from NSU. So it's an easy icebreaker for you to connect with them and really have that conversation, and you never know what kind of opportunity can come just from that. So I think it's a great tool for you to leverage, just having that always available to you. And if you don't know how to start that conversation with them, I always like to think of form conversation starters. The F stands for family, O stands for occupation, R stands for recreation, and M stands for motivation. So these are just different types of questions you can ask people just to kind of break the ice and just get to know people a lot more on a deep level. So for family questions, you can always ask things like, did you grow up in Florida? What did you end up studying while you were in school? Occupation, you can ask something like, what are some of your typical responsibilities as a marketing manager or software engineer? What do you enjoy about the field? Recreation questions are more about like if you're trying to get on that personal level with them, maybe asking what they do for fun, what do they do to relieve stress, especially in that field that they're in. And then I think motivation questions are really when you're trying to get on that deeper level with them, where you're trying to understand like their motivation, their dream legacies, what they really want to make an impact on in their field. So I think it's really important to like learn how you can enter these conversations with ease and with etiquette and find really good ways to engage them so that you stay memorable in their minds. So it's really important to also know your elevator pitch. So know what your 30-second commercial is when you're introducing yourself to somebody new. This is usually most used when you're in person with somebody and you're at a networking event and you're wondering how exactly you should introduce yourself. So I have a 4-step plan that really sets the whole elevator pitch up in just these steps. So the first one is introducing yourself and your current major or job position, especially if you're already graduated. Mention your interest and your passion, then a brief example of some work you've done, and then finally end it with that main goal that you're going for. You want to end it with that future goal that maybe ties into how they can help you out. So I have an example on this slide. It says, hi, I'm Liz Lemon. I'm currently a psychology major at Nova Southeastern University, and I'm interested in the field of consulting. Last summer, I volunteered at a nonprofit organization and had the opportunity to shadow an organizational psychologist during her appointments. I found her job very interesting and would like to pursue consulting as a career. Would you be willing to talk to me about your position and answer a few questions I have about the profession? Go Sharks. So that's something you would more send like in an email, or you would send it on like a LinkedIn message to somebody you know is an alumni. That way you already connected them with that little Go Sharks thing. But then when you're in person, it would be more like you obviously wouldn't say that whole paragraph chunk and have them wait for you to say that whole tidbit, but you would, already have in mind what are the main points that you want to get across to them. That way they already know like what are the main things that you've done and what are the main goals that you have in the future. For a lot of the students that are graduating too, it's really important to have a strong resume already set up. So I have some of the main 5 tips that are recommended when setting up your first resume if you haven't already come to the Career Development Office. So we have a little template right here for Wonder Woman. First, you would just make sure that the margins are 0.5 inches all around. So as soon as you start up a Word document, it's always going to automatically be set at 1 inch, but that doesn't let you use most efficiently the space all around in the page. So if you go to the Layout tab and then click Margins, just shift it up to Narrow, which is 0.5 inches. Then we go into bolding. So a lot of students, they'll go into bolding a lot of different things. They'll go bold their name along with their headings, their school, their degree. It's a little too much because you want to make sure that what you're bolding is what's most important, because recruiters don't spend too much time giving presentation. They don't spend too much time looking at your resume. So you want to make sure that whatever it is that they're looking at, it's really valuable time and really valuable information. So you'd be mostly just bolding your name, your degree titles, and your job titles in the positions. So you see the example here where it says education, but it's not in bold. It's just all caps and underlined. And then Bachelor of Science in Biology is what's going to be in bold. You're also going to want to list all your experiences. So I know a lot of my students will just leave out any experience that was not a full-time job, but there's a lot of valuable experience that we've talked about earlier, the practical experience that makes you a lot more of a viable candidate to these recruiters. So you want to be including things like volunteering that you did, organizations, study abroads, and even if you don't have too much work experience that you did, you can include some of the course projects that you did in your classes. So if you had, for example, a marketing class that allowed you to do some market research or a big marketing strategy for a company, include that if you don't have any sort of related marketing internship experience, because at least it shows them that you're capable of doing that kind of work. You also want to have some tailored headings. So instead of just listing your work under work experience, you'd want to cater it a little bit more specifically. So you can see on this sample resume, it says pre-dental experience. That way, as soon as that recruiter opens up your resume, they know exactly what they're looking at as soon as they look at that heading name. So instead of having it listed as work experience, try to cater it more to what it is exactly. Especially if it's related to the field you're looking into, you definitely want to be catering it to that. And finally, the bullet points are probably the most important meat of the resume. So we like to do PAR statements, which stands for project, action, result. You want to just make sure that all your bullet points start with a strong action. Talk about the project that you worked on and what was the result. You want to make these bullet points really strong. And I like to always make sure that my bullet points, they either answer the question why or how. So you want to answer, like, let's say you said provided excellent customer service. So you want to answer why did you provide that or how did you provide that. So I would add something like provided excellent customer service in order to create a welcoming environment for all customers. That's the why did you provide that. So it's just a really helpful tool for you to always stick to. And some resume don'ts that are really important to remember are, for example, don't include your personal information about yourself, age, race, ethnicity, marital status. You just would never want an employer to possibly discriminate or look at you in a different way because of this information you provided. You don't want to include any pictures of yourself for the same reason, but you can include your LinkedIn link on your resume, and that way if they want to see a picture of you, they can always follow that LinkedIn link. Don't list some soft skills. You want to more show them in your experiences. So rather than listing that you are strong in public speaking, maybe show that in an experience that you have where you were a presenter, maybe at a conference or something like that. Don't use an objective statement unless you are maybe either transitioning from a different field or you've been working in the field for a long time and can talk about that. Don't include references. The employers will ask for those if they need them. And finally, don't use first person. So some of my favorite job search tools that we found really effective for our students are Handshake, which we've already provided an account for all of our students and alumni, LinkedIn, which I showed you earlier, and Glassdoor and Google Jobs are also a great tool for all students to use.
And some people try to stray away from it, but I do believe that Indeed is a big tool as well. You can find a lot of jobs on Indeed.com. And going back to NSU Connect, that is a platform where alumni of NSU do post jobs that are current and are happening and are in or possibly in the career field that you're looking to go into.
Yeah, definitely. There are lots of great website tools, and these are just a few of them. So one of the ones I'll go into right now is the Handshake job search tool. So with that, I'll go on the website right now, just for any of you who haven't seen the platform before. This is what the home page would look like. And then I'm going to click jobs up here. And so from here, all of the companies and jobs that are listed on our Handshake website, that means that we personally as an office have a relationship with that company. So it makes it a lot more likely that you will get a call back or an interview because they are specifically looking for NOVA students and NOVA affiliated alumni. So let's say, again, I'm looking for a marketing manager. And you can filter it down based on if you're looking for a full-time job, part-time job, internship on campus. And there's a lot of other filters that you can take a look at as well. For example, if you're an international student, you can click something if you want to look if they accept OPT or CPT. And then if you're also location bound, you can type up a zip code, type up an address, and that can help you take a look at different opportunities that are nearby. And the great thing about jobs that are listed on Handshake is if you apply there, you can also forward your resume over to us, one of our career advisors, and we can send it over to the employer relations team because the employer relations team already has a relationship with these employers. So they'll make sure to vouch for you and make sure that they're putting in a good word for your name.
So there are a few ways that the Alumni Relations Department support our recent NSU grads. One thing for sure is we love when our alum or future alums share class stories. So going back to the NSU Connect platform, you can share stories there as well as on our website. So nova.edu/alumni, you're able to see a section there where you're able to share any class stories or class notes that you would like to go to, someone specific or possibly to all alumni. We do send out monthly newsletters that come from our alumni inbox. So we ask that you please make sure you update your contact information with us so you can receive those monthly newsletters in terms of what's new at NSU, any alumni events that are coming up, or anything new that's going on with our alumni association. As I stated before, 180,000 alumni. And I am saying that number for a reason. So there's 180,000 alumni with us. It is a free membership. So if I haven't mentioned that yet, some universities or colleges do have membership fees. Once you become an alum, you do pay a fee to be a part of the Alumni Association. Here at Nova Southeastern University, it's free of charge, free membership, free benefits, and free discounts. So we'll go into that a little later in the presentation, but a lot of things are free in terms of those discounts that you do receive. We do have receptions and events, so you can use our platform. Believe it or not, in a year, we do about 150 alumni events. That can be individual or that can be specifically through our department. Those events could include, of course, homecoming and alumni week. We also have our regional networking events. So if you're not in the Tri-County area, Miami-Dade, Fort Lauderdale, or Palm Beach, you can attend any of the regional networking events. So we do have class celebrations. We have alumni events that take place at any of our regional campuses areas. So for instance, Tampa Bay, Jacksonville, Orlando, a few of the other regional campuses that we do have, you are able to come out to those events and network and meet other alum and invite your friends, your old classmates. For sure. And then we have our Distinguished Alumni Awards. So this is a prestige award ceremony that we place and we have during our homecoming and alumni week. Homecoming and alumni week usually takes place the first or second week of November. So during that week, we do host majority of our events for our alumni. They may be college specific or they may be open to all alumni. The Distinguished Alumni Awards is for those that are prestige in their career that graduated from NSU. So you can be nominated by a friend of the university, another alum, the dean, faculty, staff of the university, but you can be nominated, or you can even nominate yourself, but you can go through and you go through this selection process. It's a rigorous selection process, but at the end of it, we do select one alum per each college during homecoming and alumni week. One alum, and with that information will come out if you keep up with it in our monthly newsletter, which goes out monthly once again, and you can be in touch and hopefully you'll be a part of that prestige group of our distinguished alumni.
Yeah, and we love to keep up with our alumni and see where they are, especially if they're succeeding in different parts of the country. So that's why I have this slide on expanding your job search too, because you never know if your field may be growing in a different location than South Florida. And sometimes if a job is asking for you to move somewhere else, it doesn't mean you need to permanently move away from South Florida, especially if this has been your home for most of your life. But it does really make you grow and experience a different perspective if you go for at least a little bit of time. Maybe even just doing a 3-month summer internship out in Colorado or Montana. You'll get a much different experience just being in that location. And then you can bring it back to South Florida once you have that more experience that makes you more competitive if you do want to move back here. But even if you decide to just move outside and be just somewhere permanently, it's a great opportunity just for you to really expand your network, expand your experiences and your opportunities. So just with your job search timeline, this is where networking comes in handy. You'll be researching and connecting with all these people and these jobs and places. You'll be applying to them and then you'll be following up, because following up is a big piece in making sure that they remember who you are and that they know that you're excited that you've applied. You just want to make sure you just don't get too pushy and message them too soon. You want to make sure it's a good timeline, that it's a viable time, that they're not feeling like it's too rushed. So some interview strategies that we've seen work is, one, you want to research the company and their mission statement if you do get called in for that interview, and prepare some questions to ask the company too. Maybe some questions like, what's the company culture like? Or what is the training process I should expect? I know one that students like to ask a lot is, what does success look like in this position? And that one really has them reflecting on what it is that they would like to be seeing from you. I like to say for my students to start story banking and practicing your responses. So maybe look up some typical interview questions to expect in your industry and start writing some stories based on experiences you've had. So maybe have like a separate Word document and write down different experiences that you've had. That way you're not scrambling for a story in the moment of. It's good to also dress professionally, just because you can never overdress for an interview. You just want to make sure you give the best kind of appearance, and you're not, you know, smelling, you don't want to have too strong cologne or too strong perfume, because you don't want to have something that's too memorable that that's all they remember you by. So just make sure you're coming in very like modest and very professionally and happy to be there. And then you want to also arrive early and be in interview mode. I would say try to arrive 15 or 20 minutes early, but if it's a location you've just never been to before and it's kind of far from your house, you might want to leave and get there like an extra 30 minutes early just in case, because you never know what traffic could be that like at that time. And if you get there extra early, then it's just a good opportunity for you to walk around and get to know what your future job environment might be like, and see if it's a place you can really see yourself enjoying and thriving in. And then lastly, you want to follow up with that thank you email, because that's what really makes you stand out as somebody who's enthusiastic and really enjoyed just the moment of being there present with that, that interviewer. If you can even add that personal touch, like we were saying earlier with the business card, if you remember a personal touch in that conversation, like let's say they told you about their own experiences becoming, like being a part of that organization, and you include it in the email, that's what makes you stand out above the other candidates. And then you also want to practice with a mock interview. Our services are still available to our alumni, so you can always book an appointment with us to do a mock interview, and we'll cater those questions based on your industry. So with phone and Skype interviews particularly, you want to make sure you have a quiet environment, professional backdrop. You want to have some good Wi-Fi and service. That way it's not cutting off while you're in the on the phone with them. You want to keep your eyes on the camera. So one thing that I do, because it can be a little difficult when, you know, there's the Skype picture of you is right there and you want to look at that instead of the camera itself. So you can just tape some googly eyes to the web camera and just pretend that's what you're looking at. It's a little silly, but that's what I find works for me. And then you can also take notes and use your notes while you're in a phone or Skype interview too. Since you're not in person with them, they wouldn't be able to see you subtly looking through some of the notes that you already have on those story banking techniques. You just want to make sure it's not too obvious that you're reading word for word on these responses that you've had before. And lastly, it's good to smile over the phone too. Since they can't really read your facial expressions, personality is a big piece of why people hire others. So you want to show them that you're a pleasant and enthusiastic person, and that helps. It helps to show them that by smiling over the phone. That way they can just hear that you're excited to be talking with them. So just, I know it can be a little overwhelming to go into this job search mode, graduating. Just remember that the more no's you get, the closer you are to that yes. So just continue applying and continue knowing that you gained a great education, you gained a lot of great experiences. You just need to maybe sometimes ask those employers for those areas of improvement, or ask them for some feedback so you know how to improve for that next interview.
And looking at the alumni relations benefits and services that I mentioned earlier, once again, it is a free membership, and you're able to use any of these discounts to your advantage once you graduate. If you check out our website, it's nova.edu/alumni/benefits. And there you're able to see and click on all the benefits that you're able to receive. So one for sure is our Geico auto insurance. So you do get discounted insurance through Geico car insurance at a discount, as well as you are able to use the NSU Alvin Sherman Library for research. You're able to visit the library. You're able to have electronic files sent to your email because you're an alum of NSU. And everyone's favorite as an NSU is our Affinity discount program. So with that, you're able to get discounted tickets on numerous things, or even discounted prices on a lot of things. That can include Sprint, T-Mobile, Firestone, DirecTV, Best Buy, the Marriott, even movie tickets. So a lot of things are through that Affinity discount program that we love to promote to our alum, because, you know, they are still a part of us, and we love to continue to engage them and let them know that we are here for them, and we know discounts are always a plus. So another few areas that you already use discounts are gifts.com, Pro Flowers. Those holidays are coming around and you want to give a special gift to someone, you can do so with your NSU alumni discount, which most people do not have, so you can showcase it and show it off. So the promo code for that, and I will leave the link in the message box there for you to go to specifically, but the promo code for that is NSU AA15. So you're able to use that with any of those promo codes using gifts.com, Pro Flowers. I know Mother's Day is coming up, So that's one area and one place that you might, want to use that specific discount. You also get hotel discounts as an alum. The Marriott Hotel is a partner with us, and we want to use that and let you guys utilize that for any reason that you would like with using hotels and when you're traveling. The VIP Brickcase membership program, the Recplex, which is our gym here at the university, you're still able to use that at a discount. And if you're moving and you're looking to go somewhere else, or you need to use storage units, you also have discounts with that as well. Downtown Fort Lauderdale, for those who are in the area, we do have the art museum, and you do get a discount in terms of what membership and fees that they have there at the university. So if you have any questions about any benefits or any discounts that you get as an alum, like I said, the Affinity program is everyone's favorite. Geico is second favorite, and then using those ProFlowers and Suarez berries for a lot of those holidays that are coming up. I'll provide the link in the inbox, and the promo code is there for that as well, okay?
Perfect. And then if you didn't think those were enough benefits, we still have career development services for you as well. Even when you graduate, you're still able to book an appointment with any of our career advisors and go over your resume, CV, and cover letter. We can still have career exploration appointments with you if you feel like you just want to narrow down what you'd like to do with your degree now that you've got it. We can help you with your job, practicum, and internship search, networking, mock interviews, like I mentioned earlier, personal statements. If you're now looking into going to grad or professional school, we can help you set those up. Some salary negotiations. If you know that you're doing well in those interviews and you might make it to the next step, what can we do to negotiate for that higher salary before you start? And then finally, some LinkedIn and personal branding techniques so you can really set yourself strong from the start as soon as you graduate. So that's all we have for us today. Thank you so much for joining. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, if there's no questions, I do want to make sure that as an alumni of NSU that you do follow us on our social media. So we do post daily and frequently to a lot of these specific areas: LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We do have a YouTube, but it's all NSU alumni. So if you use that that @ name for a lot of those specific social medias, you can follow us and you can see what's updated and what's current and what's going on here at NSU as an NSU alumni. One thing I do want to do for those that have been with us this whole time, or those that are just joining and hearing about it, we do want to have a NSU swag bag for anyone that can let me know. The first one to write in the message box, in the chat box, and let me know how many NSU alumni that we have here at NSU. How many have graduated from NSU? Does anyone know that answer? First one to answer in the chat box will receive an NSU alumni swag bag. How many NSU alumni do we have?
We made sure to say it multiple times throughout the webinar too.
For sure. Oh, not quite, Raphael. Not quite. How many NSU alumni we have here?
And Raphael, I'm glad that you use the STAR interview method and you start story banking too. I found it really useful just for myself when I have, a lot of questions that maybe I want to use the same story for multiple questions. So it's good to really have different stories prepared. That way you're not constantly repeating yourself. And then Juliet's asking about the promo code.
Oh yeah, that promo code, Juliet, is for using websites such as gifts.com, ProFlowers, Suarez Berries, and Personal Creations. So you're able to get an alumni discount with any of those particular websites. A lot of people use it for the holidays when they want to send out fruits and flowers and things of that sort. So being an alum, you do receive a discount for that, and that is the promo code for it. Yeah, no problem.
So LinkedIn showed 86,000, but those are just for the alumni that we have registered on LinkedIn. There are more alumni that we have at NOVA.
Correct. So Going back to it, we have over 180,000 alumni worldwide that have graduated from NSU. Oh, Paula. Thanks, Raphael. Nice try. Make sure you, one thing for sure, I want to make sure you guys follow us on our social media. Like I said, we post daily. We do have a lot of contests on our social media as well. So make sure you stay engaged with us. And if you have any further questions, please write in the chat box. Once again, I'm Raphael Walters. I'm with Alumni Relations.
And I'm Daniela Karaki-Suarez, working in career development. We were so happy to be presenting for you all today. And feel free to message us or reach out to our offices anytime if you have questions. Thank you.